Hello everyone and welcome to Collection Reflection. Today we will be reflecting on a couple of figures from DC Spinmaster, Blue Beetle, and Black Adam. So let's get right into the articulation. Starting with Blue Beetle, he does have a rotation in the head that gives him 360, but he doesn't have much looking up or any tilt. His arms do go out past 90, and they can rotate 360 even with the wings. He has single jointed elbows that give him less than 90, which is a little sad, but the elbows do rotate 360. He can do the full on splits. He can kick forward that far and back that far, although you do see that his hip kind of flares out a little bit. He does have 360 in the thighs and in the knees. His knee also bends less than 90 as well. The wings are soft, but there is no articulation in them. He has decent articulation, but the range is far too limited in my opinion. Let's go see how Black Adam's articulation is. All the Spinmaster figures are going to have pretty much the same articulation, but the ranges on them are going to be varying. He also can't really wiggle his head up and down or side to side. Full 360 in the shoulder. He can basically invert his shoulders. Even though he's got beefier arms, it does look like his elbow bends in a little further, and it can also rotate 360. Same as Blue Beetle, he's got nothing in the waist, but he can still hit that full splits. And his forward and back seems like an improvement in my opinion as well. He's got that thigh swivel, and a pretty good knee bend, which can swivel as well. For being a beefier guy, I'm surprised with all of his range. Let's go see if his accessories are just as surprising. Unfortunately, the new Spinmaster figures only come with 2 accessories as opposed to 3. For Black Adam, he's going to get some reused pieces from this Shazam figure. He's got the lightning bolt that he can hold in his hand, and that bent girder piece. Here he is holding on to both accessories. The lightning piece comes with a little handle for him to hold on to, and the girder has little cutouts for his fingers to slip in. Unfortunately for Blue Beetle, his 2 accessories are also reuse. Both of these came with Cyborg, just in different colors. I do like the plastic that they used, because it makes it look like the suit is kind of creating it, almost digitally. But I don't like the design of this gun at all. Not only does it not fit in his hand naturally, but there's a little gap in the back where it looks like he's supposed to be able to slip his arm into, but as soon as I stop applying pressure, it just pops right out. And his forearm is too short to reach the handle and bend his elbow at the same time, so you always have to have his arm outstretched if you're going to use this weapon. The sonic cannon, on the other hand, no pun intended, is actually much better, and I like it a lot more than even the one that came with Cyborg. Black Adam had the better articulation, but I think this round is going to go to Blue Beetle for the accessories. Even though there's really nothing wrong with Black Adam's accessories, I think that sonic cannon that Blue Beetle came with is a much better fit for the actual character. Let's go see how these 2 compare to some other figures. For the first comparison, we're going to start at the 6-inch mark with a couple of Marvel Legends. We have Iceman and the Black Panther. For the 5-inch comparison, we have Ultimate Legends Kakashi Hatake and Dragon Ball Evolves Gogeta Blue. Moving down to a similar scale at the 4-inch mark, we have Marvel Epic Hero Series, Cyclops, and the Hulk. I do like that the Hulk is still bigger than everyone on the table, but they all seem to be in scale. Another 4-inch comparison from the same line, we have DC Spinmaster's Cyborg, and another one of my very favorite villains, Reverse Flash. And for the final 4-inch comparison, unfortunately, I never picked up any of the movie Blue Beetle figures, so this comparison is mostly for Black Adam. Here we have DC Spinmaster Shazam, and the movie version of Black Adam from DC Spinmaster. And I do want to take a closer look at those comparisons. When this Shazam figure came out a couple years ago, I was excited because I thought, well, this will be an easy repaint to get a Black Adam, we should get him in no time. Unfortunately, it took about 2 years for me to actually find this guy in the store. And when you take a closer look, there's a lot less reuse than you'd think there'd be. As you can tell, their wrist gauntlets are different, and so are their upper biceps. Even their chest and belt designs are different. And of course, those head sculpts are not the same. So the only real reuse seemed to be the legs. I don't know if it was completely necessary to put all that black paint into the boots, but it does make Black Adam stand out a little bit more, and I do appreciate that they at least tried to give us as much detail as they could. Now to bring in this horrible thing. Again, the styles are pretty different. This is the movie version, and this is more of a comic cartoon version, so there aren't really any reuse parts between the two. And to be honest, on looks alone, the movie version isn't too bad. But the articulation that they used for his legs is so incredibly annoying that I just can't forgive this figure at all. So while I don't usually buy the same figure twice, I needed to have a proper Black Adam in my collection, and this one definitely wasn't cutting it. I mean, what kind of joint system is this? Although I will say, the cape on the new figure is pretty much garbage. The movie figure at least has a nice cloth feeling cape. This one feels like literal trash that you would probably throw away by accident. So yes, this is definitely the superior Black Adam. And from what I've seen about the movie Blue Beetle figures, either online or in person, I'd say that this is also a pretty vast improvement. These are definitely the versions of the characters that I'd pick up if you could only have one. Whether you're a highly advanced alien weapon or an all-powerful wizard god, nothing can beat the size of Pumpkin Wrapper's head.
You expect to best a god? I'll show you the wizard's power.
I'd rather do this!
Huzzah!
So how can we enhance these figures? Honestly, like I said before, they're both pretty great and they are improvements over the other figures that we've had in this line so far. Other than trying to add a waist swivel or ab crunch to them, I'd say the only thing that Black Adam could really use is a better cape. But for Blue Beetle, we need to get these wings to move. If you look closely, it does seem like the wings are separate, but there's nothing inside of it to actually give us articulation. My plan is to remove the wings and then glue a magnet to them to hopefully add some articulation. Even without giving them articulation, I can just imagine them as a cape as opposed to a set of flying wings. And I do appreciate that even though Spinmaster is now limited to 2 accessories, they still found a way to sneak in a third one with this set of wings for him. Here's what he looks like with the magnets glued into his back and on the wing. Thankfully, the magnets are able to hold the wing up in place, but after a while, if you shake them enough, they will wiggle down. When I first cut the wing off, I actually noticed there was already a little hole in place, almost as if they had the idea to give it articulation, but then decided they had to make it one solid piece of plastic to cut down on costs. So if you're able to just make a small post that could fit in that hole, you might be able to avoid having to use magnets. But here's what he looks like without the wings. So that brings us to the question, should you collect these figures or reflect them? I believe I picked up these figures for about $9 a piece, and honestly, right out of the box, they're good to go. You don't need to make any changes to them to have fun with them or enjoy them. I say you should collect both of these figures. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a nice chuckle, and please, try to be kind to somebody, because it could really change their life. I'll talk to you next time.